So hey everybody, it is Erin, and I am going to put together a fun little Happy Meal package full of planner supplies. I got this cute little card, and I can't find it for the life of me now. I've buried it somewhere in my stash of stuff. Probably have purged the things out of it already. But what it was is it was a Gatefold card that when you opened it up, it had a whole bunch of little pockets and it had fun little surprises inside. And I'm going to show you how to make this with one sheet of scrapbook paper, a little bit of glue, a punch, and some washi tape. It's really quite easy. So the first thing is that you find the envelope that you want to mail it in. This envelope happens to fit a 7x5 card. So that's the size that actually can fit into my little Happy Mail Gatefold, can actually fit into the envelope, no problem. And if it's a little puffy, I'll just pay a little bit extra postage, but it's in a standard envelope. So if you have that size envelope, basically you need to measure the length of this. And so since this is 7 inches, it's supposed to fit a 7-inch card. We're going to cut this to 7 inches. So I always measure, because I don't feel like pulling out my little lever too often, I'll measure the opposite side. So 12 minus 7 would be 5. So I'm cutting off the 5-inch marker, but don't throw this part away. You're going to need that part. Okay. At this point, what you want to do is you start folding, and I basically just put the card on here, or put the paper on top of the card, fold one side to be a little shorter. I like it that they're not exactly the same, that they're a little bit different. So I have one side that's a little bit shorter folded over than the other. And then I take the other side and I just measure it straight by sticking it on the card. If you want to be more exact, you could, or on the envelope. If you want to be more exact, you could, and then just fold it over. It's as simple as that. Look how hard that was. Now you have your fold over card. And if you like it this way better, I like it with the bigger side over. Doesn't matter. Then you take your paper, flip over. Any kind of punch would work. And you reverse it so you see the opposite side. So this best works if you've got two-sided paper, a double side, an A side and a B side. And I'm just using some Helmar 450 quick dry adhesive. I just got this in. They sent me some, which is absolutely amazing to play with. I've been using Beacon all this time and I've not really played with anybody else. And so I'm gonna try this out and see how I like it. And there it is. Ta-da. All right, so open it up. Now, what we are going to do is we are going to create a little envelope or a little pockets to put everything in. I'm just going to go ahead and cut this little section off right here that we did our punch. We don't need that anymore. And now I'm going to just trim off this little extra piece here. You could have done that from the beginning. It is up to you. And I have found that the height, the best height for the pockets, I think, this is just me, is 2 inches tall. And the reason for that, these are all 2 inches tall. It gives you room to do a double pocket. And so let's just say you're going to put in, so here's a tag, right? Here's a series of little tags, possibly something. There's room to fit that in, right? And it's not too tall. Some things are going to slide through, so you just don't push it in. And we're going to be able to fit more than one thing that's in here. So we're just going to kind of fit them in. We're going to fill them up in a minute, but for now we're just creating. So I like 2 inches. If you wanted to go a little shorter, you could, but I'm afraid things might fall out. If you want to go a little higher, you can do that too. So on this side, you got to go a little bit longer, but we're going to do a 2.5 inch, and we're going to make 2 of those. So cut 2.5. And then another 2.5, and it creates a little mini pocket. So that's what this guy is right here. That's what I did on this one. Then all you're going to do is you take your one side, not the 2-inch side, but the 2.5-inch side, and just fold over a little bit, just a tiny bit. You're creating a little bit of a pocket. So that way you have, it's not just flat against the your card or your gatefold. You just have a tiny bit of a fold. And at this point, you're going to take a little bit of glue and just run it along the edge. I close that. A little bit of glue. And when you're folding it, you want to fold it so you see the opposite side on your card. So for instance, let's call this dot the B side. So I want to see the green, which is the A side, poking up. It's the reverse. I wouldn't want to put dots on dots because then you can't see where the pockets are and it looks kind of funny. Kind of like what we did here. We did the reverse for out there. So however you want to do that. I'm not thinking the bunnies are going to work for this one, so I'm going to find a better washi that's going to work better for this. So I was given this a long time ago, and this is just a fun way to store your washi, and I'm really liking this stripey one here. So that's the one I'm going to use. And this is just a really cool way to kind of store some washi, or if you're going to go on a retreat and you want to take some, but you don't want to take all your rolls, you can kind of make yourself something like this. It's just really easy. It's nice. So line this across the bottom, and then that seals the bottom so things won't fall through. If you didn't put the seal on the bottom and you put glue, I would be afraid that things would get sticky. But now what you have is you have a little pocket. It's not huge, it's just a little tiny pocket, enough to put some stuff in. And as this glue dries, it's going to seal it and you'll be all good. And so that's why you folded it over, because it gives you a little bit of wiggle room in there. Just a little tiny hole. So I'm going to do the same thing for the next one. Fold over just a tiny bit. Fold over. Put some glue. Oops. And I'm sure there's other ways to do this. This is just the way that I came up with after seeing what was given to me by Noella. I'm part of a planner Happy Mail group, and we like to send each other fun things. And I love the ideas that come from these ladies. How they package their stuff is just so cute. I've gotten some really amazing ways that people have packaged stuff. So, and this was one of them. So I had to recreate it. It was just too adorable. All right, so now this piece is pretty much a perfect fit. And I like to make this one short. That way I can put big stuff in here, and it kind of gives kind of a fun space. So same thing, fold it over, a little bit of glue. And this is a fun way to use up that washi tape that you have. Technically, the person who's getting this, because washi tape is pretty reusable for the most part, they could pull the washi tape off and reuse this. But, you know, I don't know. I love washi tape. I think it's like the greatest crafting invention of the late little while, because it's just kind of fun and it's not too expensive. And there seems to be a lot of stuff you can do with it, which is pretty cool. But I have a ton of it and I don't tend to use enough. That's one of my problems. So I'm always trying to find fun ways to use up my washi tape that's just a little bit different, like something like this, which is pretty cool. Okay, so the next thing I'm going to do is, again, I'm going to cut this down to the 2-inch height. But instead of it being, whoops, my little guide's off. There we go. Okay, so and you end up having a little bit extra. We only used 1 sheet of paper for this, which is fantastic. So this is another fun way to use your scrapbook paper. You gotta love that. Okay. For these ones, I'm going to go to the 3.5 inch. Let's go, well, we'll make the next one a little bit bigger. We'll make the next one 4 inches. So if it's a little bit wider, like this just fits, but we're going to fold it over, so it'll be just fine. So we're actually going to have 2 different size pockets on this guy. So just fold them over. Fold over. Stick your glue on there. I mean, this is really super hard, right? I mean, this would be a great craft for your kids. You know, you could use glue dots if you didn't want to use a liquid glue. I'm going to put the bigger one on the bottom. And I'm going to put the smaller one up top. So as I was saying, you could definitely do this with kids. If you've got like a Girl Scout troop or something, this would be a fun way for your girls to kind of play on making something fun, and then they can go home and kind of fill it with a few things and do a swap at the next meeting. You could do this just with your friends. If you're not into the whole mailing thing, because the postage can be quite big, but doing it with a size that fits into an envelope like this, as long as you don't overdo what you stuff in here, you can do it pretty cheaply. So you can end up mailing the whole thing for about $1, which is not too horrible. I completely messed that up, but that's okay. And I do need to add a little bit more. And I double up my washi tape. I do this all the time. I'm not too stingy when I'm using it because I don't have a ton. I have a beaucoup load. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and pull some stuff now that I have all of my pieces here. And if you wanted to go ahead and punch out, and I think I might because it's kind of fun, I might punch out another flower for each of the ladies that corresponds. They can have a pretty flower that matches with the papers. I think I can get 2. So it's just another little embellishment, and they can use either side. And I might give this one that strip and just cut it in half. So what I'm gonna do now is I'm gonna pull some extra embellishments. I am gonna cut this thing in half, and then we can start filling in all of our little embellishments for our cards to pass out to our friends. For now, I'm just gonna go ahead and put these little guys in here. And you can stick a lot. It can even, like if you wanted to have this go over, you could, and it doesn't have to stop just because it's hitting the bottom of the envelope. So I'm gonna pull some stuff and then we're gonna stuff them. Okay, so I've gone through and I've divvied up a bunch of stuff, and some of the things I've taken, like a complete package of something, open it up, and then just split it in half. And that way they get a little bit of both. So that's pretty much what I'm doing. These are just little fun corner tags I thought would look really kind of cute because they look like little arrows. Just a little adhesive on there, but they also, you can put something in them. I think they're supposed to be corner, like they're photo corners, but they just look cute. So I thought I'd play with that idea. So I'm just, like, again, splitting it up, giving everybody equal amounts, kind of doing our thing here. So I'm going to kind of take you through some of the fun stuff. I'm going to stuff one envelope with you, and then the other one I'm just going to speed through. Okay, so let me dump it all out. So make sure that the bottom of your washi tape is pushed nice and firm, so that way things don't slide through. And then just start finding pockets to put things in. The big pieces I'm going to put in here. I might put these big ones in here too. And it's just a matter of finding a little pocket to put them in. Super simple. You know, the larger pieces, obviously put them in the larger pocket, save room for the smaller stuff. And some of these are just little die cut pieces out of just paper, and then they can choose to do what they want with it. You know, all the little, put all these guys up here. You know, I did cut some of the washi tape that I showed you. Put that in there. There's a whole slew of flowers. Some of these I'm gonna have a hard time fitting into something small. You know, some little brads. Again, split up what you got so you can get more to each person. So if you buy one package, instead of having, you know, you can buy 3 to 4 packages of one item or different items and then split them up, and then everybody gets a little bit of something, which is kind of fun. Little tags. You can fold things over so they fit a little better. There's usually no rhyme or reason to this. This is just having fun. If you want to organize it so it makes more sense when you put them in the pockets, by all means, go for it. I'm just kind of stuffing them in. Make it look cute. So they never know what they're going to get as they unload them. Pretty simple. At this point, you just kind of fold it over. If you want to write them a little note, you got some space to write a note, or if you want to write it on the back or something. I think I'm going to stick my card on here, just so they know who it's from. It's just easy. I have a bajillion of these cards that I've made a ton, long time ago, so that way they know who I am. And then you just put it in your envelope. It's going to have a little bit of weight to it. And I would suggest, before you completely stuff this in envelopes, I'm going to kind of wait. Write all your addresses and who it's to from, put the stamps on, all that fun stuff before you put this in the envelope. Otherwise, you're going to have a problem. So I'm going to go ahead and stuff this guy. I even did some little wood pieces. Now, they're not identical because, for instance, I only had one doily, so I can't split. I also had different washi tape I gave to them. So they're not exactly identical, which is absolutely fine. Don't worry about it. Again, make sure it didn't really push down on your washi tape so it doesn't pop up on you. And then just stuff it up. I'm going to speed this one up. Now, if you come across an item that's just a little bit too big like this one, then just lay it. It doesn't have to fit into a little pocket. It's still going to get encompassed into this, so you're good. I would also be careful not to put too much bulky stuff here because it's all getting folded in. So I might transfer some of these guys up here. Oh, it's not going to fit. And I took some of my swirls and cut them up. That way I could give them to more people. So it's just a fun way. I'm not going to be able to fit both of those, but I think I've got a little bit more room to groove now by splitting it up. And there it is. Now I've got some more bulk. It's not all down here, so this is a little bit more flat. Oops, I had one more flower in my hand. So I would be careful on how bulky of an item that you're going to throw in here. And again, I'm going to go ahead and label these, but that's it. This is the fun way of doing an easy Happy Meal, and you can do lots of little doodads. They all kind of fit in here. Split them up. You get to give more by splitting up your packages than if you just gave everybody full packages, and that way they get a bigger variety. It's not just they got one thing, because that costs a whole lot of money. So split them up, reuse things. There's nothing wrong with that, especially if you've never used that particular item. Cut them up, you know, re-gift. If this is something that maybe you got from a swap, but you're like, I don't know if that's right for me, but maybe somebody else absolutely loves it. So pass it on and see what you think. Thanks so much for stopping by. Please subscribe, and I'll see you guys soon. Bye-bye.